As you can see, we are fully representing the holiday spirit right now, and we're here to break down the NBA's Christmas Day schedule. I'm Madelyn, Burke, joined by DeAntae Prince and Jared Zwerling. Welcome to Give and Go. Guys, we're going to start with our number 5 pick for the Christmas Day slate of games. Number 5, the Minnesota Timberwolves visit their NBA ancestors, known formerly as the Minneapolis Lakers. But, all right, yeah, that's a stretch. But aside from wondering what LeVar will say about this one, a lot of young talent on the floor. What attracts you to this game, and what also makes it number 5 on your list?
Well, I mean, obviously Lonzo Ball, the whole mecca around him. LeVar Ball, where's he going to sit? He's going to sit the courtside wearing a red shirt like he was at MSG the other night.
He's got to be seen,
against
right?
the Knicks. He has to be seen, right? So
obviously be bright.
Where's Waldo has nothing on LeVar Ball.
Very easy to spot him from like a mile away. So, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I'm very curious to see actually Brandon Ingram versus Jimmy Butler. 2 very good small forwards. Brandon Ingram looks really good right now, attacking the paint, finishing. He's really getting better in the league right now. Jimmy Butler, not averaging the same points he did in Chicago, taking a little backseat. Actually, all the guys are. If you look at the starting 5 right now, their box score, they're all averaging around 18 points. Jeff Teague's around 13 points. So really a balanced starting lineup right now for the Timberwolves. So Lakers are young, have a lot of firepower. They're going to be really juiced up for this matchup. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think you're right. All the talent is kind of on the wings. I mean, you'll have Wiggins out there. You'll have Kyle Kuzma. And, all the guys basically who are putting up points will be on the wing, and that's pretty much the most interesting part. I mean, maybe a little bit of the Teague, Lonzo, just because you want to see what Lonzo will do on this stage, and having that many eyeballs on him on Christmas Day for the first time. So
yeah, I mean, it's a big stage for the young rookie, so we'll see how that one pans out. All right, let's move on to number 4. Number 4 on our list, we've got a matchup of 2 young, exciting teams in the East. The Sixers of the Philadelphia visit the New York Knickerbockers. This one right here. All right, the first day of the game is this one. We'll see Twitter sensation Joel Embiid against the unicorn Kristaps Porzingis. What makes this one number 4?
You want to take this deep?
Well, I mean, it's going to be like...
Other than my sweater. Like, this is, yeah.
Well, it's going to have like that sleepy feeling to begin with just because it starts at noon. It's just such an early thing, and, you on the 24th, you hang out with your family. You don't want to do anything on this day. So you basically roll out of bed and put this game on. Yeah. And there's also, I mean, Kristaps keeps getting banged up. So if he doesn't play in this one, we might have to demote it and throw it back down to 5.
Yeah. And I mean, he's been looking like this knee's not going to be a long-term issue, but you never
but it's
know.
Just a reoccurring thing at this point.
It's a big stage, so the adrenaline could carry him through, right?
I'm most excited to see what Embiid's going to tweet out before this game, just to fire up the Knicks, right? Like, what is he going to say to the unicorn if he plays in this game? So that will be interesting, the social media connection. But Embiid, a stretch 5, Porzingis, a stretch 5. That's going to be really interesting to watch, right? How they're going to defend each other. Where they're going to get their points in the post and the perimeter. So that's a fascinating matchup. Ben Simmons is going to, I think, dominate this matchup. Frank Ntilikina, the rookie, Jared Jack. Not a lot of great point guard firepower there. So Ben Simmons should have a huge game, maybe triple-double. We'll see if he can really have a marquee night on this Christmas Day. So that's something I'm really watching.
All right, well, at number 3, we're going to continue this countdown. At number 3, as John Wall and the Wizards head to the Garden, visit Kyrie and the Celtics. Last season, these teams had quite the rivalry with the hard fouls, the funeral games, who could forget that? Now, the passion on Christmas Day stage will make for some good basketball between these 2 teams that are pretty familiar with each other.
John Wall, Kyrie Irving, so excited to see that matchup. I go back to last year, actually this past year in the playoffs, John Wall had some big games on national TV. Will John come and bring that firepower against Kyrie Irving, who's having a really MVP year? I watch all these Instagram accounts like House of Highlights and all these interesting accounts that are all about the social media, even Sports Illustrated, and it's all about the Kyrie Irving handles. What move is he going to bring to Christmas Day? He has the really amazing moves this year, so that's something I'm really watching. I
mean, our producer, Evan, is pretty stoked on Santa Kyrie dropping almost 70 in this one, so we'll see if he can deliver that kind of present.
Yeah, 70 is a lot to ask for.
A little bit, but he's a Celtics fan. He can wish.
Yeah, the one thing that hurts is that, the juice of this rivalry, I think, is kind of out of it a little bit. Jay Crowder was one of those guys who wore all black and, had, the funeral blacked out thing, and now that he and Isaiah are gone, I feel like a little bit of that, back and forth trash talk aspect is gone a little bit. We all know that Kyrie's kind of in his own world. He's out there in the clouds, talking about planets and aliens, and he doesn't have time for beef. He doesn't have time for beef.
He's too busy working on his science right there.
We'll see if he drops 70 once he, comes back down there.
Once he comes back down to the flat Earth, as we're calling it in Kyrie's land. All right, well, at number 2 on our list, personally, I think this has a strong case to be the best matchup of the day, but it was a really close call. Rockets Thunder, the 8 p.m. Eastern game, featuring a couple of super teams surging in the West, Chris Paul and James Harden against Russell Westbrook and Paul George. This one's going to be good. And guys, I'm really intrigued to see what Westbrook is going to wear to the arena on this Christmas Day stage. I mean, I'm curious if he's going to pull off the ugly sweater or what kind of style, but off the court style, on the court game, both are doing pretty well so far this season.
I'm sure Westbrook could pull this one off.
I think he could.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him at all. Yeah. I think this one is number 2 mostly because the Thunder, even at this point, are still figuring things out. I mean, we saw that when they went back to Indiana. It was a pretty ugly game. I mean, obviously Indiana's been playing well, but you would expect with Paul George going back for the first time and that much offensive firepower that they would kind of like show out for him on his trip back, and they kind of like barely got out of there, like left in a whimper. And you know, obviously the guys who are in that top of the top game, you know, they're going to be a little bit more interesting than this one.
It takes time to build chemistry when you bring big guys like this together. But I mean, I don't know about you. I'm really surprised at how well James Harden and Chris Paul have figured that out so far.
I agree. I think the pick and pop, the pick and roll is working, and they're both deferring to each other. I think Chris is taking a backseat, really becoming more of a shooting guard in many ways, watching for James to penetrate, kick out to Chris Paul. And Chris Paul will take ownership when he needs to. Chris Paul is a great leader. He's a Hall of Famer for his leadership. I think in practices and timeouts, they're connecting very well. Even, you know, James Harden talked about when Chris Paul came to Houston, they were on their phone right away describing strategies. So this has been a continuous conversation that really starts in the offseason. So no issues there. You know, can the Thunder hit threes? You know, the Rockets are so good down from downtown, you know, DP, Madelyn, and I'm really worried with the Thunder. Are they going to be able to maintain this offensive firepower? Not to mention the Thunder's defense is not as good, really lagging a lot. You know, they don't have a lot of big guys down low besides Steven Adams to really contain the paint, more of a perimeter-style team. So I'm worried the Thunder really could be in for a tough ride this night.
I mean, looking at the Thunder last season, we said, can Russell Westbrook maintain the kind of epic season he was having? And he did. Now, can this team maintain? I mean, anything is possible behind a guy like that, in my perspective.
I think Jared touched on the big point, though, the compromise, the fact that Chris Paul compromised. I think when you watch OKC, you can tell that Melo is still the same player he was when he was here in New York, basically. I mean, he just moved across the country and still just holds the ball for 3 seconds before he shoots. So you can really see Chris Paul working his way into the team and fitting in instead of, as LeBron said, you know, fitting out.
Right. That does make sense. Don't want to fit out. All right. Speaking of LeBron, for our number 1, the rivalry, Cavs, Warriors, are we still thinking this is a potential preview of this year's NBA Finals? I mean, both these teams playing well, playing consistent. What do you guys think of this Christmas Day matchup?
Yeah, I mean, this is still my finals matchup. I think we're getting, what is it now, the four-peat or whatever?
The four-peat. Oh, we got to figure out a better word for like the quadrigy, instead of the trilogy, the quadrigy.
Okay, maybe.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
But yeah, I mean, both these teams, obviously with the Cavs who have started to figure it out after a slow start, you know, LeBron is playing better than he ever has now. So I'm really excited to see him and Durant get back together. I'm assuming that LeBron wants to get a little bit of revenge after Durant hit that big shot on him in Game 3.
You know, he's definitely got a memory there on that one.
Yeah, so really looking forward to this one. What about you?
DP, not just LeBron and Durant, but LeBron and Draymond Green, right? The war of words, the trash talking. What's the drama that's going to unfold on this day? So really excited. You know, LeBron, like you said, DP, shooting 58% from the field, career high, averaging 28 points since 08, 09, almost 10 years ago. Playing amazing basketball. They had 15 threes the other night. They're hitting threes consistently. Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade. All the guys, Kyle Korver off the bench, hitting 6-7 threes a night. So they're winning all these games, 16-17, because they're hitting so many threes right now, and that's what the Warriors do the best. So it's a really great matchup from the three-point line. And with LeBron shooting so well, he's going to be in that mix. And I know LeBron's itching to shoot like the Warriors, and I'm excited to see how he's going to shoot this night.
And usually with shooters, you kind of make some, you miss some. You're kind of streaking good or streaking bad. But the Warriors seem to be just streaking good consistently for years to come, whether it's one guy hitting it or another. They make it work, and that's what makes this team so good, among other things. But I agree that it's going to be an interesting night.
I mean, they have 3 of the best shooters in NBA history, and Curry, Clay, and Durant. So, I mean, it's tough to beat that.
It's tough to beat that.
Good options.
I'm sure LeBron wants to, though, so we will see how well that one works out. All right, we'll continue to check out the crossover on si.com/NBA for all the latest on and off the court.